In a distant land, long ago, there was a king who was scared of death. Even the thought of it terrified him, and who couldn't help him to think about what would happen to his kingdom after he was gone. Though he had sons, they were still too young to rule. The king often shared his fears with his closest friend, his older brother, who wanted to follow his desires instead of being a king. He was very wise and interested in alternative disciplines. Understanding the king's worries, the brother promised to find a way to ease his fears and perhaps find a way to make him live forever. The days turned to weeks, to months, to years. The king was trying to keep himself busy from the unavoidable end. He was trying to be happy when he was still alive and putting all his effort into his children to make sure they keep his beloved kingdom as it is. It didn't raise any concern at first, but between servants a rumor has appeared that one of the king's servants has disappeared. She was an orphan, but all gods blessed her with beauty and kindness. She was nice to everyone around her and was doing her best to serve her king. No one has found any reason she got into trouble. As the king got older, he was getting closer to his unknown end. Many restless nights later, his brother knocked on the door. The brother mentioned he finally found a solution to the king's fears. He presented a ring to the king. With the immortality the ring provided, he could rule his kingdom forever, and he landed a ring on the king's hand. The ring has a small red gem on it, but the king has never seen such craftsmanship anywhere before. Gem has hollowness inside, and the more you look at it, the more you're mesmerized by it. How can this ring help me with my fears? He thought. His brother assured the king by the time he would understand how this ring would serve him. The king's trust in his brother was endless, that no harm would come from him. Whether it was the effect of the ring or not, he was relieved that death would not come for him anymore. By the delusion of immortality, the king and his brother became closer than before. His brother considered more about his dream and his health, even though he started to keep a journal about his dream and thoughts. After many similar dreams, he was ruling the kingdom with pride. One night, a nightmare appeared. He was in the air, but then the field of gravity started to pull him to the ground. Heartbeat was getting louder, but he wasn't waking up. Suddenly, he felt the moist surface on his back that made him realize he wasn't in a dream at all. While slowly raising his head up, he saw the girl gone missing from his kingdom floating in the air with a white dress. With a soothing smile on her face, she slowly approached to the king, kneeled, held his head between her arms, and combed his long white hairs with her fingers. The king's mind went blank, and he got a vision looking to his kingdom from a distance gratefully. While he was hypnotized by his memory, the girl kindly held his hand with a ring, kissed his hand, and finger by finger put his hand into her mouth. To prevent waking the king up, her sharp metal teeth severed his hand from his arm. She swallowed his hand as a whole, and with a smile on her face, slowly left the king's head to the surface and sashayed away. The king's brother kept his room busy until someone realized his disappearance, and suddenly all the king's power and the memories flowed into him. He checked everything he wrote to see how accurate these memories were. The experiment was a success. He finally harvested the fruits of his father for not choosing him as a king, and that made him not even care about it more. From this moment on, he could trick the other kings who wanted to be immortal, and he could collect their deepest desires over the rings and his beautiful monsters he called king suitors.